This is Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jay Clifton Payne, whether you're watching us live at 5:30 a.m. Central Time or on a replay whenever this happens on Central Time on the 21st of August. Thank you for being a part of the family and the show. The Conversation Project is your home for headline news, information, and pop culture references that are worth chatting about. And today, we chat about the incoming of Hurricane Erin. Good news, it's not going to hit land, but bad news, rip currents will be fairly terrible. Amazon Commerce is taking over everything and dropping stocks for used car dealers, but one used car dealer is going to make some money off that one. And speaking of money, we have a lot of money talk today. Not a lot of Trump talk as normal, but we're going to talk about those McDonald's combos meals being back to something worthy of buying and not just super expensive. Plus 5 other stories, 8 stories we'll promise you for this Thursday. Remind you that our website home is a conversationproject.com. More details on how we do things and why we do things every single day. And you can stop by our spotlight sponsor, which is Ground News. This is a conversationproject.com/ground news, and they will give you a great deal, 40% off their news plans, and we get a small commission from that. So we all do great things. As we say, 8 stories going on. Oh, that is Sydney Sweeney in the teaser graphic. We'll get to her and not her genes in a bit. But right now, let's prep for the stories you have for the day. 8 new stories that you've helped us deem as conversational. So let's have that. Hurricane Erin, which is now a Category 2 storm with 105-mile-per-hour winds, is battering North Carolina's Outer Banks, flooding Highway 12 and threatening homes. Now, the storm's not expected to come to land it's so far, but the force of winds extending up to 500 miles are prompting beach closures and rip current warnings all the way from Florida to New England. Evacuation orders are in effect for Hatteras and Ocoka Islands, though many residents remain. Ferries on Ocoka are already suspended because it's that bad, that close. Lifeguards have rescued over a dozen swimmers swept up in dangerous rip currents so far because when hurricanes come out, people want to swim and surf. Underlying public complacency and climate-fueled storm risk is a big deal. When storms come, you should take them seriously and not just think it's a time to be a part of the history. The history could be your history. The unfolding Hurricane Erin crisis underscores compounding threats in the weather. Of course, there is intense storms and the surge, logistics happening, and of course, climate change, which will become an issue coming forward. Any actual damage, any fixing will be the story for a while as well. So if you're in the eye or in the path of ripped currents or somewhere near where Erin will be an issue, please take precaution. Republican legislators have passed a new congressional map that follows a dramatic mid-decade redistricting standard by triggering walkouts and looming arrest warrants for absent Democrats. Democrats showed up for work this week, and so the Republicans passed the bill they said are going to, and will cut up Texas in a way that will affect Democrats and Republicans by limiting some Democrat seats and meaning more House seats in the Congress in the upcoming elections in the midterms 18 months or so from now. Democrats returned to the Capitol after 2 weeks away. They ended the boycott. They had some provisions in the dealings, of course, not being arrested was one of those, but they, because they don't have the majority, essentially allowed the passing of this bill. Now, the trigger about this is other states are trying to combat this as well, as California was waiting for Texas to pass their bill, and then California is going to do their best to pass a bill on their own so they can overtake the independent action that works on their census and works on their redistricting, and they're going ahead and fight to get 5 new Democratic seats there so that they basically get lost in the wash. The new map is projected to potentially net the GOP those 5 seats. The 5 from the Democrats will work in California, so this is a wash. But other states are going to the escalation of force, if you will, to see if they can do their best for Donald Trump and Republicans, or in air quotes, battle back to Republicans, but essentially not following the will of the Constitution or anyone in any sense, and try to drop these districts much, much earlier than they should be. We got a story that got a little bit of buzz here in the conversation, dealing with musician Ernesto Barajas and other singers like that, rappers including, who basically are singing the praises of the Cartels. It's like outlaw songs from back in the day in country music, but the outlaws were like living in the times. Ernesto Barajas, who I'm totally butchering that, sorry about that one. He's the lead singer of the regional Mexican band Eniga Norterno, and he was fatally shot on August 19th in the parking lot in Jalisco at the age of 38. He's known for the drug ballots glorifying cartel exploits and attracted both mass popularity and much controversy. We had some people, and I can't remember, I have to go back to the archives. I pulled the story because of what it was. We had some people who were basically cartel loving bands, cartel loving rappers, so it was a rapper specifically, who got his visa revoked because of what he's doing here. He had to stay in Mexico and could not perform in Texas. So I had a big concert set up happening there. Now, this killing actually follows a disturbing wave of violence against musicians outspoken about narco life and pointing to entrenched danger in that scene. It's a lot like your gangster rappers being caught up in gangster rap stuff, if you will. The probe by local authorities is underway, yet the murder spotlights the deadly intersection of art, notoriety, and the drug trade. This is one of those things that you have to kind of scratch your head at, that if you don't understand it, you don't understand it, but you should know something about it. That's why we're talking about this here. You may live here in the US, United States, and think about, back in the 80s and 90s where, rappers were shooting each other up because of the gangster lifestyle, and they kind of still do that to a point. You may think of rock and roll guys who get a little too coked up and start playing around with guns and things on those ends because they do that stuff as well. This is essentially the same thing. There are singers in Mexico who sing up the life of the outlaw that are narcos people, real narcotics traffickers. And because of who they are, where they are, and how actually entrenched they are in the actual life, they are targets for their lives. Sydney Sweeney has great genes is a pun for selling jeans. Sydney Sweeney has great genes is a reality of folks who are into that sort of thing. But Sydney Sweeney is still sort of a B-level actress when all is said and done. Very popular. Most people like her, but her actual body of work, yeah, she was in that fake Spider-Man movie, is where you go. And her new film records a pretty good record of being pretty bad. Americana, which stars Miss Sweeney and is was the critical darling of South by Southwest in 2023. So 2 years ago on the scene when she was kind of emerging, the movie looked great. Problem is, nobody went to go see it. Movie's limited visibility before its wide release, including lackluster marketing, likely suppressed the audience turnout because it got no real buzz in real time. A lot of buzz back in the Death Festival days 2 years ago, but it's kind of a mismatch of the marketplace and how things work now. Essentially, it outlived its loveliness back at South by Southwest. So, Sydney Sweeney is not doing great with her movies, but she's still making money on jeans and still having that spotlight because it's there. And yes, we're still talking about her. Maybe not for long. She'll go away and come back because that's what happens. But we still have a spotlight on Sydney Sweeney for commercial purposes. So this is the part where we pause. We'll take a quick hydration break to hopefully get past some of the little rumblings in my tumbly. But we're going to talk about you for a moment, or ask you to talk about us for a moment. What's that make sense for? Because we need your assistance. You, dear viewer, need to help us at the Conversation Project by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the work we do. If you like what we're doing, I see I'm doing good work. I get a bit of a high from that war, and I know I'll do more of that stuff going forward. The algorithms, the magic things on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube for this particular, and TikTok and other places as well for the smaller ones, we'll see that you guys like what I'm doing and you guys want to see more of it, or do you want more people to see it? So they will share it with more folks. They'll get to be joining into the News Nerd Nation, hashtag News Nerd Nation. If you share directly with other folks who are potential news nerds, they may watch it, they may share it, they may join in as well. And if you're not getting this natively into your feeds because you're looking for likes to send to you or shares to be sent to you, and you enjoy it and want to help us out immensely, that's where things get great by subscribing to us wherever you are. YouTube is our standard bearer. We're about to reach another milestone in a few days, hopefully a few more clicks, maybe today, or a few more subscribers there. But we do keep an eye on the X followers because that's where a lot of the chatter is, and do keep an eye on the Facebook. Some folks are still on Facebook, and go there as well. Wherever you're watching this, wherever it's popping up in your feed, like, share, and subscribe so that we can get a little more extra love and grow this thing. Consider going to our website. We'll talk about that in a bit, and helping us out with partnerships and subscribers, or sorry, with our sponsors. But here we're asking you to like us, really, really like us. Because if you really, really like us, it gives other folks a chance to see and get a chance to also like us as well. Have you ever broken up with a gym? I have broken up with, well, one gym actually broke up with me. It closed and was like, okay, we're shut down. We're out of here. Here's your money back. The only time it happened. Any other time I needed to cancel a gym membership, it has been a bit of a hassle. And now the FTC is stepping in over LA Fitness as they make it pretty full of hassles to get out of, to cancel your policy. All words saying the same thing. The suit has gone against LA Fitness and its parent companies, alleging they use opaque, restrictive methods to thwart membership cancellation. There are two ways to get out of a LA Fitness contract: in person and by mail. You can't do it online. You have to talk to a manager. It has to be done in a certain way. And because of that, if you move away, if you something happens, if things happen, you just want to press a button and kill on your credit card, you have to go through those steps and hoops to get done. Commission is seeking to halt these practices across essentially the entire industry. They're starting with LA Fitness first because they're a big target to shoot for. They want to secure refunds for affected customers who have missed them refunds, so basically overpaying until they can actually get out of the contracts, or people in the future would better. In person, mail, and some added online cancellation options are getting better, but the way they go through the process is still draconian and makes it really, really hard to officially break up with your gym. And if you don't want to go to your gym and break up with it, it should be easier. We shall see if the cancellation lawsuit will actually work and whether this will be a bunch of dominoes falling for the entire industry sooner or later. Most likely sooner. Will it really affect us in general? We'll see. Amazon's in the picture, but Hertz is doing the work as their stock has surged on the announcement that the used car sale partnership with the Amazon brand. Amazon Autos will be your conduit to Hertz's used cars partnership. Basically, instead of going to the Hertz store to look at what they had online or for perusing what they have there online, you go to Amazon. We're already there. And Amazon Autos, where people do sell used cars, are going to be a showcase for the Hertz cars, which should be better cars because they should be maintained. Although if you rented a car recently and you're the kind of person who gets that full coverage so you can drive that thing over curbs and into trees without any actual incident, your mileage may literally vary with the car. 6% surge in Hertz's stock, adding up to 41% year-to-date gains. Big money for Hertz. The problem, Carvana, Cars.com, and the other likes, they went down because the partnership is only with the Hertz brand. Any other car dealership that's online, any other car dealership that is connected to the stock markets, to the markets themselves, got bad news with this. Good news for Hertz. The analysts are seeing the collaboration as a direct threat to established car marketplace platforms and people showing up in real person to put hands on cars. Amazon is lagging in dealer scale, but partnering with Hertz will help them catch up pretty quickly with this move and reinforcing Amazon's esteemed expansion into traditional retail categories. Now it's automotives. Amazon's going everywhere. Jeff Bezos is in your pocket regardless. You can't really stop him. It's kind of hard to contain him. You can only pay for his next couple of yachts and his wife. Yeah, I said it. Facing a collage of all sorts of issues financially and prices rising all over the nation for everything, including cars. The last story, McDonald's is going to help. 8 popular combo meals are being cut by 15%, ensuring they cost less than buying the individual items separately. Because, ironically enough, with the combo combinations at this point, you're buying all the pieces more or less at regular price. The $5 breakfast options, like $8 Big Mac or McNuggets combos, will basically be $5 breakfast options and $8 Big Mac and McNugget combos, as opposed to $10, $12 based on how you play it up. You'll see them in September. Not quite yet, but they're getting there, and they'll stick around till November under the extra value meal label. So they'll go away again. It's not a permanent fix, but it is for right now to get you into the mood for, I guess, your Christmas shopping in September. They're going to make the meals much more amenable for you there. They will subsidize participating franchises to offset some profit impact because the things actually cost. The volume should actually help, but in some cases, The volume and the decreased prices and for decreased income may be issues. So the corporate guys are going to peel off some cash from their big wallet. Thank you, corporate guys. This is a strategic value pivot, and it reasserts that McDonald's has a reputation for affordable and inflation competitive brand, even though at this point in time, it's not all that affordable and definitely not inflation competitive or competitive pressure there because their combo meals cost as much as anything else. $12 for a Big Mac meal with fries and drink. You might as well go to a diner and get a full steak dinner because they'll do it for you for about the same price. Final story for the day. Home Depot is announcing targeted price increases as McDonald's is trying to go low. Home Depot is going high. They're doing it because of tariffs, because that, Americans, is how tariffs work. Home Depot has warned this for a while, but selective prices are going up on various imported goods, especially the garden chemicals, and they're saying tariffs are the problem. Most inventory is going to remain domestic, so they will stay stable. The things they're buying from overseas will have to have a price increase so that they can stay in business. CFO underscored that this increase won't be broad-based. Company is leaning on improved U.S. store sales amid mixed quantity of results. The numbers aren't so great, but they're not terrible. So since they're doing okay, they can still do a little more for us out there as consumers. They can raise prices on just the things that are definitely going up high, the foreign things, and keep domestic stuff, although those prices are creeping up as well, down as low as possible. Cautious cost management in high inflation, high tariff environments for many, many different types of retailers. Home Depot is just one of them who's saying the quiet parts out loud. Tariffs are an issue. We have to raise the prices to maintain what's going on. Yes, the government's bringing in billions and billions of dollars of taxes from tariffs, but the taxes from tariffs are taxes on you, the Americans, because you have to actually pay them for the goods coming in. Supply chain resilience is great if you want to think of it that way, but the tariffs make things cost more for us who spend money on them, not really for the nations who are importing them. They don't make as much money. We pay more for the increased taxes from the tariffs. Breaking away from the main part of the story and the 8 stories you've been into to get you to our spotlight sponsor. We're going to talk today about ground news. We talked about ground news a lot. We will start switching up some sponsors. So we're swapping out some affiliate programs, so we're trying to get our affiliates lined up. But ground news is a direct affiliate program that we looked out for to connect with directly because other news outlets were doing the same thing, and it's something we actually were using before we knew there was an actual affiliate program. But you, as a news nerd, can get in on the action yourself by buying into ground news for a great price and a great deal on it using our link. This is theconversationproject.com/groundnews. Once again, this time with feeling. This is theconversationproject.com/ground news. You get 40% off their news plans. From the basic plan, just gives you news for less than $1 a month, to the Vantage plan for less than $10 a month, which has all the features, all the bells, all the whistles, all the insights you need, including the blind spot feature. The blind spot feature is a really cool piece of the pie here for ground news. If you are a siloed news reader, and many of us are, we read our own separate links directly. Some of us are really tied into a conservative view or a liberal view based on how we live. You can see every so often what other sites of the other ilk are showing so that you can see what your sites of your ilk isn't showing. It may give you something, a little bit of a pause to see how you may not be getting all the great news you need to from your silo. It may give you a chance to shake your fist at them and call them weirdos. Whatever it is, you can see what other people are talking about and see that directly with ground news by seeing side-by-side comparisons with headlines and news articles and info on the sources, who owns them, what they tend to report on, and how they tend to be. Check it out via ground news and via our link. This is theconversationproject.com/ground news. It is an app for your phone. It's an app for your web browser or browser. And it is something that we use every single day to check out some stories that we think may be a bit suspect. So you as well can be just as newsworthy as we are, maybe better, with ground news. That is that for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here. We missed a couple days this week because of some things, and it is just what it is. Because I am an independent creator, I'm not going to stretch and say much of a journalist because I am essentially aggregating things and creating stuff. Real world things get in the way, and sometimes real world tiredness gets in the way. I had a very long, arduous sort of week last week going into this week, and so fatigue has been a big part of things. Doing the 3 a.m. wake up thing is a natural, but doing with 3 a.m. wake up thing and then not getting out of bed and going back to sleep for a bit when you're worn out has been the thing that's naturally over these past couple of days. Your encouragement, your emails, your comments, your texts, lifelines from folks who work behind the scenes here and folks who are friends of the show have been greatly appreciated. We are going to do our best to get back on schedule because this is part of a business and your business helps. So that's why we ask with the scroll at the bottom, consider being a partner, consider going to visit more sponsors, visit Ground News, talk to me about how you can do things more often, and share this with as many folks as possible. If you share it with more people, we can get more avenue or more revenue from the ads that are played inside of YouTube and inside of Facebook, and that will help alleviate things as well. I ask less money from you guys if you just share it with more folks who don't actually pay for their coverage. Actually, and on YouTube, I pay for YouTube Premium. We get cuts out of YouTube Premium as well. Tiny cuts because people are paying to not watch the commercials, but we get cuts from that as well. So with that, love you all. We'll bid you adieu for this Thursday. If all goes well for tonight, we wake up tomorrow, we'll have our Friday edition of things you might not have heard.